For the technology fair, I chose to use Google Classroom for my assistive technology piece. Now, I know Google Classroom can be used for your general population students, um, but I have found it through my experience extremely helpful to use with my adaptive students, so that's why I chose it for this adaptive assistive technology tool. The only downfall about Google Classroom is not everyone can use it. You need to have a Google Apps for Education account, and your IT department or your administrator would set this up for you and link it to your email address at school. So if you're watching this and you really think that your school can benefit from this, you could always ask them if they can look into getting an account. And I highly recommend it because I love it. So in this little training thing, or I guess presentation, I want to show you how to create a classroom, and then I'll explain to you how I found it to be a huge help with my students, like I said, who are either adaptive or require special assistance or need different modifications based on their disability. So first you're going to find your account that's linked to your Google Apps for Education account, and here's my school email. So I'm clicking on it and then I'm going to log in. Once you get into Google Classroom, you'll see all of your classrooms show up that you have created in the past. So here you see my current classes. What I want to show you now is how to create a class, and then I could start going over some of the really cool things that I've done to help my adaptive students. So you hit the plus sign and you see join class or create a class. I'm going to create a class, but I want to explain to you why joining a class would be a really good tool to use with your adaptive students or special needs students. I like to use it, and I like to, when I hit join a class, you can co-teach a class. So I'll create a class and I'll have other teachers such as my special ed teachers, my resource teachers, my AIT teachers or one-on-one aides joining the class. That way they can see everything that we're doing in class. So if their one-on-one student requires special attention or certain modifications, they can help me with that. Instead of me having to call or email them constantly, they're a part of my classroom, so they're seeing what we're doing on a daily basis and what's due and what's expected of that student and what they're learning. So I found that joining a class, sharing it with different teachers has been extremely helpful with my adaptive students. So I'm going to show you to create a class, hit create a class and then type in the class name. So let's just type in Technology 100 and section, let's put 5th period. And then you hit create. Once your class is created, you'll see right here it recognizes the teacher who you are. So if you decided to add a teacher to your class, you would see more than one person. Here is your class name right there, and then here you see streams, students, and about. Now your stream is just essentially a stream of all the posts or assignments or questions that you have posed for your students. Now you see the same thing as your students see on the stream. Then you see students here, so I'm going to click that. In order to get students into your class, you can either invite them by clicking invite right here, and then it's going to pull up your school directory, so directory here, and then you search them by ID number. Students can only join Google Classroom with their school email address. Let's keep that in mind. Or you could give your students this class code and they can join it themselves. If you click on About, down here you see Invite a Teacher. So this is what I was talking about. I usually invite my one-on-one aides or my resource or special education teachers, maybe a case manager who is tracking a particular student's progress. I'll invite them to my class, and I found, like I said, it to be a huge help. It keeps the communication open between us, and together we can make sure that that student is successful. So that's what I like about inviting other teachers to my class. Now here, if you go back to the stream, you'll see a plus sign down here, and when you hit it, it says create an announcement, assignment, question, or reuse a post. So I'm going to create an announcement. So this is something that I found I use as a daily reminder or a daily routine or what we're doing in class that day. That way if a student is, let's say, absent, they could refer back to this Google Classroom and see exactly what we missed. But in terms of an adaptive student, it helps them, or it helps their case manager or even their parents. So I'll share with their parents this Google Classroom site, and then they'll have everything that they need to know right here. So let's say here, today in class we read chapter 5 in our books and took a quiz. So we'll say that's what we did. Now let's say that the quiz, I want to attach it to it. So I would click on my Google Drive, and let's say that this was my quiz, although it's not. This is a project. So it'll be here, and I hit post, and now all of my students can see what we did in class. All of my case managers and my ATI teachers and my parents can see exactly what we did, and there's the quiz. Now let's say it's a homework assignment and I want them to do an assignment. I would hit create an assignment, and I would type in, let's just say worksheet. I could type in instructions here. I could set my due date, and then again I could attach something from my drive. So let's say this is the instructions to your assignment, and it's right here. Now it says students can view a file. So that means every student's going to get a copy of this that they can turn back into me on Google Classroom. Now I found that by using Google Classroom, especially my students who have issues with organization or keeping track of things and losing things, this helps them immensely because it's all right here. And so those case managers know exactly where to look if a student is missing an assignment or has a 0 for something, for example. So you can see right here, it says done 0, not done 0. Now if I would add all my students to this class, it would say not done, the number of students, and done. Once a student turns an assignment, it'll show up as a 1 here, and you click it, and it's going to show you all the submissions here, and you're able right away to give that student feedback and grade the assignment and turn it back in. So what I love about Google Classroom is everything is right here. It's a very organized technology piece, and I love to use it. The other thing you could do is pose a question. So create a question, you type in the question, you can pull your class. I like to use this before class, kind of like a what students already know. So I'll type the question, short answer. You can have them reply to each other or not. So this is really cool to use at the beginning of class or even after to check to see if they understand. So all in all, what I like about this is that I can collaborate with my adaptive or disabled or my students with disabilities, their other teachers, so we can work together to make sure. I like it that all the assignments and class activities are posted on here, and there's copies of them for them at all times. That way their parents can also see them as well. I really like that about this. I want to show you what my students will see. So this is the teacher's view. Students' view looks like, so if I was a student in this health class, this is what it would look like. So here's an assignment that this teacher posted. I would hit open, and it would have my instructions and everything on here. And then to turn an assignment in, I would hit add, and I could add either a file like Microsoft Word, or if I typed in a Google Doc, or I can create something fresh, so by clicking on Google. Now this is a Google product, so it has the Google additional products here. Once I finish my assignment, I'll turn it in and hit mark as done. Mark as done. And now I turned it in to my teacher, so now my teacher will have my submission and they can grade it and give it back to me. Also, you could see here classmates. I could see all my classmates, so if I have a question about an assignment, which a lot of my students who do have a lot of questions and need extra assistance, like my adaptive students or kids that need modifications or extra assistance, they'll ask their peers, and here's all of their email addresses, which I love. That way they can work together. And if we go back to here, here's the stream. It helps keep kids organized. They know exactly what we're doing every day. You see exactly, you can attach things. So for kids who need extra assistance or extra study tools, you can attach Google Slides here. You can see here I've posted I've posted a flashcard using Quizlet. Now this is one of my coworkers' classes, but I joined as a student so that I could show you. But here you can see everything that we do is on here, and I've just found that this is an excellent tool for all students, but in particular, I really like using it for my students who need extra assistance so that we could all work together to make sure that this student is successful. Here's my class that I have currently, and you can see everything here as well. So this is what I was talking about. Here's the assignment. I posted a test. Here's their assignment, and it tells me 32 of my students did not do the assignment yet. Once one of my students turns it in, it'll show up right here, and I'll have it. Another thing what I really like is I allow my students to turn in like a rough draft of it, and then I give them feedback. And like I said, this is especially helpful for my students who need a little bit more help. That way I can provide them feedback right away by just typing in my response and sending it right back to them, and they get a notification. So this is pretty much the short version of what Google Classroom is. It is so helpful. I really suggest trying to take a look at it. Like I said, you need a Google Apps for Education account to use it, but I think it is really worth it. And if you do have it, give it a try and see how you can use it for your students who maybe need some extra help, or a place to keep organized, or a place to help keep everyone involved in their education. But I really enjoy it, and I hope you guys got a little bit out of this presentation, and I hope that you kind of step outside of the box and realize that this isn't just a tool for you to have a virtual classroom, but really it's a tool that can help make sure all students are successful no matter what level they're at in terms of their learning capabilities. So hope you enjoyed it, and that's all I have for you.